Salutare dragilor! Bine ați revenit la un nou podcast, Verde la Microfon, în cadrul proiectului BSB 00532 EcoYOU, implementat prin programul Interreg Next Black Sea Basin. Astăzi vom aborda o temă inovativă, să-i spunem așa, obstacole întâmpinate de cetățenii din Georgia prin implementarea reformelor de mediu. Și pentru că am menționat Georgia, avem invitați astăzi asistentul manager din cadrul Asociației Naționale a Autorităților Locale din Georgia și pe doamna Khatuna Akhalaia, pe care o să o rog mai târziu să se prezinte și care ne va povesti care sunt reformele de mediu din Georgia. Pentru că avem doi invitații din Georgia, podcastul nostru se va desfășura în limba engleză, iar voi, în momentul în care urmăriți podcastul, aveți un buton undeva în stânga mea, dreapta dumneavoastră, jos, unde aveți posibilitatea să selectați traducere și să urmăriți podcastul cu traducere în limba română. Așa că o să începem prin a prezenta invitații noștri. O să o rog mai întâi pe Mariam, care este asistentul manager, să se prezinte, să ne prezinte organizația și ce proiecte implementează ei în momentul de față. Welcome, Mariam, to Galați.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us today.
Tell us something about NALAG.
The National Association of Local Authorities of Georgia is a non-governmental organization that was established in 2005. And it includes all local authorities in Georgia. We have overall 64 municipalities in our country, and all of them are members of our association. And we always do a needs assessments in the municipalities, and we find out what challenges and the problems they face locally, and based on those challenges then we offer some services. Yes.
Okay, thank you for this summary of your organization. Is there a particular ongoing project or initiative that you would like to highlight for our listeners?
Yes, so first of all, I would like to highlight how our budget is formed. So we have 35%, that is the membership fees the municipalities pay to us, and other than that, 65% comes from the projects. And like I mentioned, as an answer to the previous question, we do needs assessment, and based on this needs assessment then provide the services. So whenever we have a possibilities to involve the municipalities in the projects, we see first of all which municipalities are most in need to implement certain activities in their local communities. So based on that, then we start the project in there. So right now, in terms of environment protection, we have two ongoing projects. The first one is EcoYOU project, the one we are participating in the podcast too. This is clean and green minds for environmentally behavior. Yes.
Yes.
And another one is the Seed Guard project, that's also Black Sea Basin project. And all of them, we started implementing these two projects simultaneously, and they are still ongoing. As a part of the EcoYOU project, we're working with young people and we're working with decision makers in terms of awareness raising of how important it is to protect the environment and not pollute it, and also we want to make young people and decision makers work together so they could implement environment protection activities after our project is done. As for the Seed Guard project, it's mostly concentrates on farmers, so they want to find out the traditional seeds that are in different parts of the Georgia and keep cultivating them and help farmers in this regard too. So these are two main projects that we currently have in our association.
Nice one. This one, Seed Guard, it's interesting idea. Youth engagement is often critical for the success of such initiatives. How does NALAG involve young people in environmental projects?
We try, as a part of this EcoYOU project, we work very closely with young people. So we have three regions in Georgia we work with, and during the first phase we had awareness raising activities with young people, and sometimes when they are taught at school, it's all of the education they are getting is formal, and they are lacking the practical component in it. So what we try to do, we use so many informal components and games within our trainings. So we're sharing with them the information about environmental protection and how important is it, defining some like ideas and approaches and methodologies, but at the same time we're showing everything what we explain to them in theory, in practice and in games. And I think this is like, and we are often getting the feedback from young people after that. They are loving it, they like it very much.
Are also teachers involved in these sections?
Yes, we use teachers, we involve youth workers as a facilitator, so they are helping us very much.
Thank you. Engagement with decision makers is essential for sustainable change. How would you describe the willingness of local decision makers to cooperate with your organization, with your projects?
They are very open to cooperate with our association because they are part of us, and they know that whatever we are offering to them, the services, it's the benefit to them. So they are very open. It sometimes, like when we had a capacity building sessions, they have especially they have in the municipalities, they have the departments that are working towards environment and young people, and we were inviting all of them. So they were contributing very much. So they were very active and very interested.
Thank you. Now let's turn our way to Mrs. Khatuna to explore the national environment reform process. So Mrs. Khatuna, please tell us something about you, about your organization.
Thank you for inviting
and
me.
Welcome to Galați.
Yeah, thank you for inviting. It's quite challenging, the issue, environmental issues in a country, and it's always depending on the internationally raised questions and legislation developed according to the requirements of the international convention or other kind of documents. And my experience to work on that issue not covers only the expertise to work with training or something like that, but I'm working with the business sector as well. So our consulting team, including me, we are very near to the business sector, how they are tackling the problems with the environment. Sometimes when we are mentioning the environmental problem, sometimes it's very new for the business sector, and we are just bringing them near to the environmentally friendly technologies.
They are open to this kind of projects?
They are very open because we are showing them how they can benefit from the, for example, different kind of approach like a waste management or energy efficiency of the building, how they can manage and benefit from that regulations.
Okay. Could you give us a general overview on the main environmental reforms introduced by the Georgian government in recent years?
Since 1996, we had a law on environmental protection, which was slightly already not applying to new situation. And after 2014-2025, we had a lot of changes. The last changes I can mention that industrial emissions. Georgia has a problem with the air pollution. And it's known internationally because we are the part of the IPCC, so that's quite well understood that there is everything not so well. So I could highlight this one of the initiatives which comes now, and another is the waste management, because we have not only municipal waste, we have a toxic waste, so we have quite big gaps among the management issues.
I understand. Which are these big gaps or shortcomings in how these reforms are being implemented?
After the assessment of the legal frameworks, we find out that the enforcement part is really missing, and the technical documentation or technical regulations for under the bylaws are not well defined and sometimes not clear to the business sector, because the business sector are the sector who has to change something in the practice. So that is a big gap still.
I understand.
The international organizations are really helping with different projects to reach that goal.
How effectively does the government cooperate with local communities or with the business sectors?
Government usually environmental protection. Governmental part of the ministry, let's say environmental protection and agriculture, developing different kind of regulations, and local population has to take into account all this process. But sometimes the law are not very clear, and when it is not very clear, then population cannot cooperate. That's why the middle persons, let's say experts, and the education of such people is important, and we are playing the role with the consulting organizations.
I understand. What role do local eco-communities and environmental groups play in supporting or pushing for better implementation of these reforms? Could they have a stronger voice in this process?
Well, last period the voice is a little bit low, I can say, but there was a period when we signed the association agreement with the EU. There was focus groups which was working in different issues, and non-governmental organizations or local community-based groups were very active. Now, little bit economy and political situation is getting, covering all the problems, and the environmental problems are a little bit turned down. So this is how it is.
How actively is Georgian society involved in environmental protection today?
By the law, for example, if it is necessary to involve local population or local people to the decision-making process during the environmental impact assessment for a certain project, which is under that regulation, falls under the EIA process. In such cases, they are involved. How their voice are heard, that's another question, which is quite sometimes not questionable, let's say, how they can heard. But they are involved, but as I told, it's not enough.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Looking forward, what needs to happen to strengthen environmental protection efforts in Georgia?
Awareness raising, that's the most important part, and under the Aarhus Convention there is a participatory approach of environmental. When you are solving certain environmental problems, it should be strengthened, and the capacity building of laboratories, which needs to prove that there is a problem or the contamination is high. It's one of the big problem, and one that could be very important to support the government, not only government but generally the Georgia. But I can say that local population are not very well aware, and I hope new generation, with whom Mariam already mentioned about involvement of the teachers and the school children, and I also working with the school children in different projects, and they are very active and they are very interesting. And most probably this is one of the main, let's say, trend we have to follow.
What gives you optimism that progress can be achieved?
This new generation's approach to the environmental problems. So they are really very looping into the problems, and which is quite promising. Because sometimes they are very active during discussion of the among the municipality decision makers. So they are quite active. Thank you.
Thank you, Khatuna. Talking about youth, Mariam, you've organized the ecological camp recently. Can you tell us about this camp, how it was?
Yes, so we had a 1-week event in Georgia with an involvement of our partners from Romania and Moldova. So we had roundtable discussions, and after that we made the discussions with young people. We asked them what, like them specifically and individually, what challenges did they face and what they wanted to improve in their surrounding, and they listed like so many problems they faced. They were above 30, and then on the next day we gathered again with the same group, and we clustered those problems, and based on those problems we created groups. We divided them into separate groups, and they drafted project proposals of how they saw they could improve the problem. And we also gave them that there is a methodology, 10 million ideation. So we told them that we were giving them 10 million euros, and what would they do with that money? So yeah, and they opened like all that creativity that they had in their mind, and they drew a very beautiful pictures on how they saw the future, and then they made a presentation, and it was very interesting and very good. And then we got the feedback from them, and they were saying that sometimes they are now given the floor to speak their mind, and they were very happy that we involved them in discussions, and they expressed their ideas, and they felt very content. So I think that young people should very often be given a floor to speak and to express their ideas, and our project might be one of that floors for them. So it was very good and very interesting. And we also taught them how they could go to hiking to do environmentally friendly hiking, and how to set up an ecological camp as well. So they were very active and very open and very involved and very happy at that.
I'm happy to hear that. So the young people represents the progress that we've talked about it. So thank you, Mariam. Thank you, Khatuna, for this detailed and honest analysis on environmental efforts in Georgia. Is it clear that the success of these policies depends on the involvement of the authorities, of the local business community, and the experts, also and the youth? Vă mulțumim, dragilor, pentru că ne-ați urmărit și astăzi. Așteptăm să ne dați un follow, să ne dați un like și să distribuiți ceea ce facem noi. Vă rog să ne scrieți dacă aveți întrebări, să lăsați comentarii la podcast. Aveți în descrierea podcastului și adresa noastră de e-mail. Orice lucru vreți să-l discutați referitor la partea de protecție a mediului, noi suntem aici, suntem deschiși către colaborări, către noi proiecte. Vă mulțumim încă o dată și ne vedem la următorul podcast cu încă un invitat din Georgia.